This is a Neewer 3-pack of filters. So you get a UV filter, a circular polarizing filter, and a neutral density filter. So they sent me this set of filters to review for free. If you wanted to purchase them, they would cost you between $30 and $45 depending on what size you get. So this particular box is 67mm filters. They offer them in all the standard sizes, and the costs, range up or down a little bit based on which size you get. So in the box we have a little manual and this carrying case here. And in it you can see we have the 3 filters, and they also include a microfiber cleaning cloth. There's also a desiccant silicone pack in there. So this little accordion fold case has spots where you could put 1, 2, 3, probably 4 filters, plus maybe some other accessories up here. So this is the polarization filter, and you screw it on and the top part can be turned to adjust the polarization. It's labeled CPL. So by looking through your viewfinder and rotating the lens, you can block or not block certain light. So if you rotate it just correctly, you can get very blue skies and highlight the clouds. So the same effect happens with water. So as you rotate this, you block some of the glare, and you can adjust what the water looks like. So here's a combination shot that includes both water and air. So this is shooting almost directly downward into water. As I twist the circular polarizing lens here, we can remove a lot of that surface glare and look down below the water a little bit. As I keep going, it comes back. So this is the UV filter, and essentially your camera is already UV filtering, so the main purpose of this is to protect the front face of your lens. So I just always have a UV filter screwed onto the front of my lens unless I'm using a different filter, and in a lot of cases I'll just keep this guy screwed on and add the other filter to the outside of it. So this guy has threading, so it will accept another filter in front of it. So this is the neutral density 4 filter. It has ND4 on the side of it. Basically, this just darkens your view without adjusting the color. This is just me taking the neutral density filter and holding it in front of the lens. So if I take the neutral density filter off the lens, that's what happens. It just darkens at 2 stops, that's all. And so you screw this onto the front of your camera when you want things to be dimmer. So if you're outside in bright light and you want to use a slower shutter speed, maybe to catch a little motion blur, so to deliberately blur motion, you might put this on so that your image doesn't get overwhelmed with light. So it's a way to control the amount of light that's coming into your lens other than by dropping your aperture or taking the shutter speed to a higher shutter speed. Alright, so all of these filters screwed onto the camera just fine, no problems with the threads. Arguably, the least interesting but most useful is the UV filter, because you should just have one of these on the end of your lens all the time just to protect your lens. Now, the neutral density 4 filter, it's a little more specialized. You may not find yourself using it as much unless you're shooting outdoors a lot and need to dial things down. The circular polarization filter is the funnest one to play with because you can, while you're rotating it, you can immediately see the results. It's not magic, it's not going to fix every problem with glare, but it can cut down on a lot of blue sky glare or glare off of water or basically non-metallic objects. It's also kind of useful for documenting graffiti and murals because sometimes the paints will glare a little much, so this guy can cut that down. So out of these three filters, it's the funnest one to use. I think this guy here is going to be used for the most time. So the accordion holder to hold the filters, perfectly functional, works just fine. The filters have a nice kind of, lint-free fabric between each filter there. So at the price point, I think it's a pretty good deal for a set of kind of your basic filters.